I am currently installing Proxmox V9, the very latest Proxmox version, on a DB server 13. Hello and welcome to a new video from ComputerRalle here on my channel. Today it's all about Proxmox V9, the latest Proxmox version. And we're installing the whole thing on Hetzner. Honestly, the server is really child's play, so no one needs to worry that it won't work. Totally easy. I'll show you exactly how it works. Proxmox V9 is, as you know, the latest version, and many people have already heard about it. I've also published a video on how to upgrade Proxmox V8 to Proxmox V9. And it makes perfect sense that if you're setting up a Proxmox server now, you should use Proxmox 9 right away with the latest tricks. That way, you'll have the longest possible support period, so to speak. With the longest update period, you don't have to worry about it for quite a while, which is great. It's been about a year or maybe a bit longer since Proxmox 8 was released. And yes, I've also had peace of mind with Proxmox 8 for quite a while now, and everything worked perfectly. But now I've already switched over myself several times to Proxmox 9. But this is actually the first time I'm doing a bare metal installation on the server. And of course, I'm inviting you to join me for it. As always, I've prepared a plan for this video. However, this is the first time I'm presenting my approach differently, because writing out my approach in text files here every time, that just kept turning into more and more text files and I got tired of it. So I moved the process for my videos into my ISMS as well. There you go, I'll open it up here, and in my ISMS, which I also use for my business, I've created a user called ComputerRalle. And this ComputerRalle user does not have access to customer data or other things I manage in here. ComputerRalle is separated from all that. And now I have my process right here. And the advantage for me is that I can track exactly in my ISMS when I actually did what here, too. And now I want to first show the process here in the video. Installing Debian 13 Trixie. At the provider Hetzner, let me scroll up a bit, you can now select Debian Trixie 13 as of today. For the installation, you go into your Hetzner account to servers and then select the corresponding server. Then you can click on the Linux tab here and then you can choose which operating system you want to install. I have already pre-installed Debian 13 base. I received the access data from Hetzner. And now I can log in here using Kitty or Putty or any other SSH client, right? I have already done that, I am already online in the shell and it is really straightforward. I checked yesterday and noticed Debian 13 was not on the list yet, so I would have chosen Debian 12 and then performed a manual upgrade. But since Debian 13 has been available online since today, you can select it directly, right after you've made your choice here. After you have clicked on the install button, you will receive a message from Hetzner. The Linux installation was successfully activated. It then takes about 15 to 30 minutes and the server is ready. And you can then log into the server using the login credentials shown here. And everything is fine, so now I will install Box 9 on this Trix server. Trix is already installed. I can quickly show it. Here it is open and I am logged in here now. Debian Trix. First, I will do the following here. I will update the server and then install it. Box 9. Then I'll connect my domains, which I have already set up, after I have linked the domains. Install the SSL certificate on the server, set up the update repositories, and add the enterprise repository as well. And if I still feel like it, then I'll set up my backup server and above all, restore backups. But for now, that's not really our concern because it's possible I won't feel like doing that at all and we'll just skip it. But this here, that's what we're going to do now. The installation of Debian Trixie 13 is done. The installation of Proxmox V9 is coming up next. Domain, SSL, and update repositories. I've already shown you that, so now we can continue here. At the same time, I'm going to perform the following steps. Within my information security management system, I will navigate to the section for operations and maintenance to document this. Now, I will proceed to create a brand new entry and label it as Proxmox installation box version 9 on the Trixie Hetzner server. Once that is set up, the actual installation process will begin and we can monitor the progress. And then the logic here is simply with the article, or not just storage. At least the article is saved. And now I can start logging the installation here, maybe jotting down some notes for myself. And then that's all set, and I still have this open here. The install Proxmox VE and Debian Trixie. You can just Google that, it's the PV Proxmox, go to the site, wiki, install Proxmox on Debian Trixie. And I'll put this link down below in the video description along with this description here. With this installation guide, it's really child's play. And all we need to do is say add Proxmox repository. And then we're already at the repository here, and we need the PVE subscription. Just copy it and start it in the shell. And then this part is basically created, and we can start installing the thing. It's really simple. First, I go here into my kitty, into my shell, and say, once we run the Proxmox update check, it says that all packages are fully up to date. It could be that there's now a completely fresh system image on a Hetzner open server, which is fine. Everything is looking perfectly fine. Now, let's go to the instructions, and here it explicitly instructs me that I should please add the repository. So let's navigate right back up here to the page as well. Here is a navigation point. Step 3, install Proxmox and Proxmox VE repository, Proxmox VE repository. And then all we need to do is copy this here, it says, and paste it in with right-click has now been done, and then it will be added to the file, etc. App sources list, dpkg install repo.sources has been added. Enter. And now I can copy this here. And then nano says paste it in, and then we'll see it in the file, etc. App sources list, dpkg install repo.sources type web, URL suite tricks, no subscription, signed for architecture. 64, all chicky, all tol xwat say, for those of you who are still following this guide for else Proxmox VPS root, then yes, we should definitely do that too. So let's just copy this here. Bam, bam, bam. Just do it exactly as it says, paste it in here and press enter. Great, it worked. Then with modernized sources, it converts the old formats of the sources, lists into the new formatting. If there are old ones, all sources, it works wonderfully with modernize. Of course, that's the case if you're doing an upgrade now. From Proxmox VE 8 to 9, after you've installed Trixie, you know what? It's a sensible thing to modernize these sources lists. And now we update it, and that means after running apt update, please start apt full upgrade. And then it downloads, processes, does its thing, and so on. Yes, we want to upgrade it. Now, a full upgrade of Debian Trixie with the PVE kernel will be performed here first. And before you know it, and so on, everything will be downloaded. Wonderful. And now we want Proxmox, the Joy kernels, so we copy it with one command and press the install link, Proxmox. The Joy kernel, blah, 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 614 Proxmox, no PvP, blah, blah, blah. The moving company, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's what we did. And now it's downloading everything it needs for that. Here you can see PvP tricks and the free subscription. Everything will be downloaded. It is nice, as expected. Of course, it could be better, but it is wonderful like this. Now it already wants to have a reboot. If it wants a reboot now, then it should get a reboot, just like it says here, the ctrail reboot command. The question now is whether it's actually rebooting. Sometimes from now on it just jumps down here. That means it definitely crashed, and then we wait. So what did I do here now? I'm going to make a note of this now. In my SMS vertical power, I navigated over to the website, and it happened exactly during the time it was rebooting. I went to this website to explore all the different features and see what the platform has to offer. Next, I logged into the Debian Trixie interface, and then at the repository management section of the system, I successfully saved the PVE repository configuration to the local list. After that, I ran the initial command in the terminal window, then I carefully imported the necessary security key into the system with the next command, and now the entire setup process is finally done. Just like that, and I copied the code over here because it says right here that I should do it, so it is clearly marked, and that's not even in question. Just like that, then I did that, so I don't have to manually run every single command here now, because I truly understand exactly what that means for our project. So honestly, that is more than enough for me to move forward. And then right after that, I went ahead and did that specific task. Then it started to do its own thing for a while, which confirmed a few important things for us. Then it went through several more steps. And then, okay, now we just have to wait patiently for the server to finally come back online. And once the server is back up and running again, let's go ahead and make it a bit bigger than it was before. All right, just wait for the server to come back. And now I'll go ahead and perform a quick temporary interim backup first. Great. Because now I've already commented out every single thing right here that I might need later on. So here I go. The installation begins now. Then I'll do this right here. Keep reading and boom. Continue reading further as the installation begins through official PVE resources. So we will carry out the installation process using these official PVE resources and then save your current progress and close the file, as that was all there was to it. Let us take a look together at how the finished result looks. install Rockbox 9 on Trix Hetzner and can keep reading. Wonderful, and edit. So let me check if the server has already come back online. It's back. A right click was enough because Kitty can actually remember the password here. Putin can't do that. With Putin, you would have had to re-establish the connection, but with Kitty, you just need to right click. And just like that, it's back online. Great. So now, after the reboot, I should install the default kernel app. Now I should install Postfix, OpenSCSI, and Crony here. And as it should be, I'll install them soon. And of course, that's what I'm going to do now. Otherwise, my server might not work. So let's get them installed. Yes, that's what needs to be done. And there you go. It's already installing everything you could wish for. Internet, no configuration. I'm choosing no configuration here because I don't need a mail server. So that's what we'll do. And this video won't be too long either. And I just want to quickly mention again that my Proxmox 8 videos, all of them, which you can see on my YouTube channel, are still up to date. Even if Proxmox 9 is being used, the only thing that really differs significantly is the HA groups. Other than that, technically speaking, not much has really changed. So, technically speaking, from the perspective of what we actually see, a lot has changed under the hood with the new Trixie and the new PVE, but Proxmox VE 8 video series, the award-winning video series, you can still watch it anytime. A bag of chips, a bottle of cola or something, a pack of gummy bears, invite all your buddies over. And then you just binge watch them all. And of course, you also watch all the commercials that YouTube shows you. Naturally, you also end up clicking on one or another commercial, and maybe you even buy a product, so that I don't have to starve here. Or so I don't have to eat plain white bread and margarine here, but maybe I can even afford some rye bread. So Debian trick, it was installed here, things were done, and Proxmox VE. And now we are supposed to move the original baby kernel. So let's get that done. We will move the tag. Of course, someone confirms with yes and it's gone. With that finished, now update, just to be safe, update the bootloader, update grub, and run the OS prober command. We are going to remove that item, and yes, that is everything we have for January. We do not need to do anything else here, because the bridge that we create will be in Proxmox itself. We don't need to waste time messing around here. Instead, we'll just proceed with the configuration right away from the console. So we'll take our specific IP address, got it, and we'll use our IP address here and add :8006 for the port number. And now, as you can see, the Proxmox VE is now successfully online. And now, of course, you have to use the root password that was specifically provided to me right here. I have the root password. Now I've copied it in, so it should be real Linux now. And we log in. Now that we have successfully logged into box 905 and everything appears to be working as expected. Tart. So the very first step you need to take is to navigate over to server repositories and remove the enterprise repository. The able can stay like that. We'll stick with Hetzner. Wonderful. Updates, and then let's see here if an update refresh brings anything up. Since I've just installed this thing brand new, there really shouldn't be any problems here now. And now the server is ready for now. What I'm going to do next is the network. Let's take a look at the network. We're here on the host, so let's check out the network. So after I clicked apply changes here in the network, I have apply configuration. Clicked. Now it has first created its standard nano, etc. network interfaces file here. And at this point, I can also go ahead and enter the following here. Interface auto, inet static. Next, we need to focus on the configuration details. For instance, we want to place the children elements specifically before the MBR0 inet static entry. Once that is positioned correctly, we can see the title gateway section right here, and from there we can continue with the rest of the setup. We will define the bridge port as being equal to NPNP 610. Following that, we need to ensure that the bridge -STP setting is switched to the on position, and we also need to configure the bridge FD0 parameters. By carefully setting the FD to 0 and ensuring the STP is turned on, everything in the network configuration should actually be functioning perfectly fine and stable. Let's comment that out and press O, Enter, and X. And then we do systemctl restart networking, which also takes quite a long time. Is it refusing to accept it here or what? But now it has accepted VMBR0 here. That is wonderful. Let's delete that as well to keep things tidy here. In my file, I'll also remove inet6 loopback for now. I'll make everything nice and tidy. And then I press Ctrl+X, and then I go into network. And then I go into the bridge here and get my IP address. I've remembered it. Here. Then I've completely commented out IPv6. I'm only using IPv4 here. I've completely commented out IPv6. I'll take another look at my file, or rather it's deleted, so to speak. If I need it, I can add IPv6 here later. I don't need IPv6 right now. This is just auto ENP6 S0. That's the network card. It's static. Auto4 NBR0 is connected to the network card. P6 S0 is attached and uses this IP address, and with that, VMware 0 works. And my internet works. And everything is working perfectly, so I haven't made any changes. So that's it. That's it. Now, I really don't want this specific thing to be called Debian Tricks anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and rename it, not through the webbox interface, but just normally via the shell using tools like nano and so on. For the host name, look, let's call it Libyan Trixie. Yes, exactly. Because it should actually be prox reserve, or more specifically called prox reserve x. And then I'll take a look at the hosts file. Host file, localhost, .local domain, prox reserve, .computer, all of them. The epox reserve, prox reserve. That is exactly how it needs to be. And the specific IPv6 address is bauhoch rox reserve .computer, all on the .de box minus reserve. Prox reserve .computerralle, de prox reserve .computerralle. Wonderful, we'll leave it like that. Oh, wrote 9 lines. X reboot. So now we wait again. This will take a moment. So, and now it also says here on mine, root prox reserve. And how do I access prox reserve? I can show you that here in my article. Of course, beforehand, I went to my domain registrar to my website provider at 1, blue. I set up a DNS entry, box minus reserve, and it forwards to the IP address of the corresponding server. And that's why I assigned this name here as well, because this IP or this domain points to it. Namely, just open up Firefox, type in the web address, rin, expand the section, and finally accept the risk. Firefox loads, just like my password, and of course, I'll change the password right away as well. And now I'm here on the proxreserve.com computer, all points prox reserve. And what I can do now is really easy. First, just go to not here, everything. Nice, then go to Startup Center again and scroll in the middle down to ACME so that I can get myself an SSL certificate and create an account. The official account name is Prox Reserve. To be clear, when I mention this account, I am referring to Box Reserve, and that is my primary email. For any inquiries, please contact Welt at the domain rolfpeterkleiner.de. I am quite certain that I will soon receive a large gift basket from Let's Encrypt for being the owner of an unprecedented number of SSL certificates, likely more than anyone else has ever held. I accept the terms and conditions. Boom, now it's being registered there. Task OK. The account is registered. Then, before I do anything major here, I'll first go to the firewall and add protocol TCP. Destination port is 8006. That's the port for the interface here. Except in AT, then TCP destination port 80 for HTTP AT in accept, and TCP 443 for HTTPS and accept. These 3 ports then enable the firewall. Now it's already activated, and go to Starter Center and also here to the firewall. And where is the firewall? There it is right here, and I am going to select options. Firewall now says, now the firewall is activated. And fortunately, I have already manually opened up the 3 ports on the node. And 22, enable protocol TCP port 22 for, otherwise my kit down there would crash, so I also allow SSH. Let's see. Whether Kino is online, yes, no, don't close it. These 3 ports are open and the console is loading. Also, it still says here that you have a security problem, and of course we don't want this security problem. So let's go to the node. Go to Certificates, System, Certificates, and select Add Challenge Type HTTP. That goes over port 80. That is proxreserve.computerralle.de. Let's remove a dot, that's one too many. ComputerRalle.de, create and edit. Then we say, please use the ACME account that I just created before. Proxreserve, say apply. And if I now click on create a new or order a new certificate, it will go online and obtain a certificate over port 80 and install it here on the PV. And then the thing runs or is ready, which is already a pretty good valid task. Okay, everything's great. I can close this now. Now we just wait. And now it has loaded the new one. And there it is. At the top, there's no longer a security issue. Instead, it says the connection is securely verified. Wonderful. That's already taken care of. So my box 9 is now at least somewhat secure for now. What I'm definitely going to do now is use the shell here and type passwd. Then it wants a new password. And now I've gone ahead and created a new password here. And I've now set up this password here. And then let's see, restart and check if my new password works here. All right, then I'll get the password. Now I just right click and press enter and I'm already logged in and the new password works. So what I'm going to do next with this PVE is go to my website, briefbetterkleiner.de, then go to Linux. For this Linux server box, properly secure and harden the box server and missing. I'm now going to install, update and uninstall. And then it installs for me here, fail to ban, which acts as a kind of watchdog. And if someone logs in incorrectly here, then fail to ban blocks them by IP address. And you can just follow my instructions here. And of course, this also works in box 9. And now I'll start by copying over the relevant entries here. It's Harburg. It's Har. And I'll remove the entries for the animals. And then I go back here and select this entire block of data right here. It's HD. It's already in the file, so don't copy it again. What's written above, just paste it here. And then copy the entire Proxmox block down here, which is on port 8006, copy it and add it here as well. And then it's in here. I've written 1003 lines, Control X, that is control. If you want to save your work, then continue forward. We create the Proxmox filter, simply press enter, copy the old definition of the filter and copy the lines. Press Control Enter. Then Control X, and now we execute all these commands here. Bam, 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 just paste them in there and bam, 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 and you are done. The service has started, it is enabled, and it is running, and now we have our jail, prison, an IP jail called Proxmox, and currently none are banned yet. IP's in there, but if any malicious users try to log in now, their IP addresses will be blocked. There's an error here because I executed all the commands at once, and while I'm running all the commands simultaneously, it's not quite right yet. Let's do a restart, let's run the commands one by one, then we won't get this error. Because this restart actually takes longer than the commands, otherwise I would have had to run one after the other. I just forgot that here. To be completely honest, I was stupid and I forgot it. Because when the system is restarted, of course it can't check the status, and then an error occurs. So status, then status SSHD, all tricky, and status Proxmox, so tricky. So the commands were executed too quickly one after another, and because they were sent too fast, it got tangled up, and that's why it spits out errors. But if you run them one by one, it works. So this jail is working now. That was one of the most important things for now. So with that, fail to ban is now installed here. Let's just add it here. Ban status box is missing. Everything is fine. If I now, let's say, go to PvP here. Just click on this one here and say, okay, and if we enter something wrong here, then it acts up, blocks, reports an error in the log, and now Cohen Lee should be missing here. There should now be a 1 here, and there should also be a 1 here. If I check again now, total is missing, 12, so it's already there. That clearly means that someone else has already attempted to log in. I only tried to log in incorrectly once, and it shouldn't have taken this long at all. Then something is banned here as well. So this thing works. Now let's check the updates again to see if there's anything fresh or new here. Boom, done. And now I have to be honest, here integrating Proxmox backup server, data center, storage. Not much has changed here. A lot has changed. Now I can simply select Proxmox server here and add a Proxmox backup server and copy my VMs over here. Honestly, I really don't feel like doing that anymore. That's enough now. That was simply the installation of Proxmox on Hetzner. Connecting a domain, setting up SSL, and also adding fail to ban, so you have login protection here. And that should be more than enough. And all the other videos, all the Proxmox videos I've made, if I go here on YouTube to my channel and all the Proxmox videos, Proxmox VE, installation, basic configuration, securing, beginner playlist, they are all up to date, these videos.